Good morning, everybody. Today we are doing another Badge of Honor trail. We're running over to D2700, the Lost World. This one's just north of Moab. And if you consider the drive from town to the end of the trail and back, you're looking at almost 100 miles. So we're going to go see if we can make good time on it today. It's nothing too serious for a trail. It's just rated a 3. But it does take us through some interesting areas over into the Labyrinth region. So we're looking forward to seeing some neat stuff today. What a beautiful morning. Check this out. Just the sun coming up. Look at the fog. I think it's going to be a good day. Just unreal though. So a lot of people get pretty uptight about how they deflate their tires. What I've found works for me, I just pull the valve stem and I check it, watch it go down, and then occasionally I'll check it with this and see if I'm down to the level I want to be at. It's not much to it, just don't drop the valve stem. Today I'm only running 25 psi. I don't need to go much lower, because really I'm just going down the 25 to just smooth out the ride a little bit, so I don't have to spend so much time and beat up the vehicle so much. So we're going to do our first check. Pretty close, 23 psi. Let's get the other ones. So when I initially looked at doing this trail, I saw that it was only 8 miles, and I was like, cool, I want to go do it. But as I looked into it further, I saw that, it was almost 100 miles. That seems like a lot, but then when you look at, a whole bunch of it is highway driving, and then a lot of it is just these dirt roads right here. You cover a lot of ground really quick, so it's not going to be as long as you think. We just turned off onto Levi Well Road, so this is going to slow us down just a little bit. This is a less used road, mostly just kind of dirt and clay. Looks like we're going to get a little bit muddy. Guess I'll be taking this to the car wash when it's all said and done. After getting a little bit of mud on the Jeep, I decided to fly around for a little bit and see if I could find any remnants of the British American petroleum well. From the reading I did about it, it was drilled in the early 1900s. It never really produced that much, but what I thought was interesting about it is British American Petroleum never really reported doing any work down in this area, but when you look at the records, they clearly had a well down here. And so it was interesting. I was hoping to maybe find some remnants, but no luck. So kind of a disappointment, but not surprised either. It's 100 years is a long time for any of that stuff to stick around. So with that, it landed and kept on moving. All right, so no luck finding the British American Petroleum well. Makes sense, but I think understanding that those are out here gives a lot of historical context for the work that went on out here. So there's a lot of salt and there's oil, but not a lot of it. So reading into their surveys from the early 1900s, that was one of the things they were finding as they were trying to develop this area, is that it is promising. They had hoped for oil, but they really didn't come up with much. Most of their holes that they were drilling in this area came up with either water, and not very good water, or it came up with nothing, right? They called them dry holes. I think the first Levi well, they ended up pushing it down to 1,000 feet and didn't have any luck hitting anything. They just called it out as a dry hole. Well, here's our fork in the road, so let's check out our map and see which way we're supposed to go. All right, so this road off to our left, this takes us up to what would have been the W.P. Wilsnat Road, which I think historically this was known as the Queen Well back in there. And then so if we go right, that continues us down the Levi Well Road. So we'll continue right, and we might explore that on the way out. How cool is that layer of clouds right over the top of us? Honestly, this morning's been the coolest morning. I keep saying that, but I really mean it. So we started out today at 32 degrees, and there's a little bit of ice on the puddles. But just look at that layer of cloud just sitting on top of the rocks. I think the fall and early spring are kind of underrated seasons that come out here. Everyone worries about the cold, but honestly, this is some of the best off-roading. Realizing I'm going to use all of my memory and battery getting to the trail. So we're going to stop messing around. Don't mind if we just rip on down. Alright, we just missed our road. And this road right here is D2700. I was ready to miss it. Dude, I was just driving in this fog. This is so cool. Alright. This is our road right here. Okay, now the moment of truth. Let's see if we can log the app real quick. Alright, here we are, Jeep Badge of Honors. Limited trail. 24 miles away, so maybe not yet. Let's look at it on the map and see how far they say we are. Oh no, it looks like we're right on it. Alright, so one lesson I learned when I was in Las Vegas is if you can log it, because you don't know when you're going to have service next. Let's hit it, check in. Request hard badge. Put all my information in. Okay. And verify my address. Confirm. All right, request is submitted. Just in time for this limited badge. And then let's make sure to take a picture for the add to the app. Well, I think that's a unique one to add to it. Use photo. Submitting. Success. All right. First obstacles of the day. A couple 1-foot ledges to climb. I don't know, but that might have been the gatekeeper. So I think we're equipped for this trail today. But on a serious note with this trail, like this is a great spot if you have a stock Wrangler and like not even a Rubicon, just like a Sport or anything like that. This is a great trail for you to come in and, you know, earn a badge of honor. Yeah, not really much to it. So yeah, definitely get out and do this trail. We just passed another fork in the road. And I think maybe that's the one thing that you really gotta put work into with this trail is there's a lot of turns out here. And this whole area, that's one of the cool things about it is you could spend a lot of time exploring out here. And there's a lot of different rock features. But if you're trying to go anywhere particular, there's a lot of roads to get lost on. So definitely doing some trip planning before you go. There's a lot of good softwares out there. I think the most popular one is Onyx, and that's what I'm using today. But yeah, there's a whole bunch out there. Big point is you can download the maps ahead of time and add your waypoints. Onyx has a really good track marking feature where you can mark exactly where you want to go. And it makes it pretty good for navigating spots like this. I'm just following the black line for my planning. A nice little roller right there. But yeah, definitely, you know, you'll get lost out here if you just show up. You can do it old school with a map, which I think would be really cool to do. But it definitely is important to have some sort of navigation tool out here. It's always funny how steep stuff feels in person, but when you look at it on camera, it's not steep at all. That's an interesting little alternate right there. So it looks like there's a spot where you can do kind of a bigger step down over here to the left of the Jeep. So looking at the map, it almost looks like we could go right and hop over, shortcut over. But what I am curious is where this is going to take us when we go around. So we're going to follow the trail officially because it looks like that just takes us across some dirt. So I think this will be more interesting to not shortcut and take the long way. So we'll go this way. So over here on the left side of the Jeep, we have these posts. What's interesting is it's kind of hard to see with the seat in the way, but over here we have a kind of a little canyon that they're encompassed in, and so for early ranchers in the area, this is one way that they would corral animals in, is just grab a couple posts and then put them into an area like this. All right, this spot's pretty sweet. There's a little step over here to the right, and then you have a little ramp over here on the left. I think we're just gonna kind of split it. Let's go down into low, just so we have some good climbing control. We're gonna finesse this very carefully. Got both tires on it. Okay, now we're gonna climb. Here comes the right tire. Nothing too crazy. So I want to say we officially reached the technical end of Lost World. There's an overlook over here that looks down in the 10-mile wash. So I wanted to drive over to that and go look. I always had an ambition of doing 10-mile wash, but with the rains and all the, basically with all the flooding that we were getting for a while, lining up with the timing of the trail closures, I never got to really drive 10-mile wash like I'd hoped. Hopefully someday it'll open back up, but for now the best I can do is take a look at it. So I'll get over here and take a peek. All right, we've made it to the end of today's trail. Basically, from here, I turn around and I find another road back out. There's 100 different ways to get back to town. I might go back the way I came in, or I might find something more adventurous. But I just want to say big thanks to Jeep for putting this on the Badge of Honor list. A lot of these trails are out here that you'd never get out on if, I guess for me, there wasn't some incentive to get out here and check it out. So thank you to Jeep. And then also huge thanks to the groups that are fighting to keep our trails open. This Labyrinth Canyon area is kind of a special spot to me. So thank you to groups like Blue Ribbon Coalition that's constantly challenging the closures. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out and do what you can to support them. They're doing a lot to keep our sport going, our industry, our way of life. It's funny, I closed out the video when I got to the turnaround point because I imagined I was going to go straight back the way that I came, which that was okay for one time. But I'm just saying right now, this is the better way to go out, at least. Especially if you do Lost World the direction I did it. This makes all the sense in the world.